Welcome, everyone, to this pre-recorded version of Cultivating Conversations. It is Friday, October the 1st. It is the fourth quarter. We have 3 months left until 2021 is gone. It's fall. There's a lot of great things going on, and due to time constraints and conflicts, tonight's recording tonight's recording is pre-recorded because I have some things that I have to take care of, but I did not want to come from having such a great opening podcast episode last week and then turn around and not do anything. Okay. And I didn't want to belabor it because since October is today and it starts today, and it's on a Friday, I'm starting a new series. So just for everyone who was a part last week, thank you for being a part of the kickoff for season 3 of Cultivating Conversations. And to everyone who is new here, welcome. This is Cultivating Conversations, where we have thought-provoking dialogue about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, everything in between. I am your host, Stacey T. So if you are new, welcome. And if you are returning and you've been rocking with me for the past 2 seasons, welcome back. I missed you all. So last week, right? Last week was such an amazing episode with Overseer Alicia Collins talking about COVID and talking about the church and talking about the pandemic, speaking about her testimony. And let me just put a plug in now and talk to you really quickly about Lemonade. Overseer Alicia Collins, she is an author, a visionary, and she has her annual conference in October called Lemonade. And this year is called The Stand. It is going to be in downtown Manhattan on next Saturday, October the 9th. There is still time for you to get tickets. There's still time for you to get tickets to be in person. If you are okay with that, there's going to be strict COVID protocols. There's still time for you to get a virtual ticket. If your church or a group of you, your friends, whomever, want to get out and go to an amazing spirit-filled event, since we haven't really been able to do that within the past year, you can buy group tickets. And with those group tickets, you can get a discount. And if you just want to support, you can also buy a t-shirt. But we really want you to be a part. We want to finish 2021 strong. We don't know what's coming down the pike for the remainder of the year. We do know that we are covered. We do know that, and we do know that we are victorious. But as far as instruction and strategy and those things for businesses and ministries and just you as a person, if you can be in the building, be in the building, okay? So tonight, or today, because it's actually almost 1 p.m. on Friday, October the 6th, this month, I am starting a series called Successfully Single. And I kind of talked about it last week. I'm starting a series called Successfully Single. Why? Because it's getting cold and cuffing season is around. It's coming, is lurking, is looming. We have kind of gotten a release a little bit, if you will, from COVID, so we can kind of congregate together. And, people have been out in these streets, single again, perhaps lonely. And it's really been something that's been pulling at my heart. It's been pulling at my heart because, and I've spoken about singleness in past episodes and in past seasons of CCTV. I've spoken about it because I am single again, meaning that I have gone through a divorce. I do not call myself a divorcee. And I don't call myself divorced. I am single. I went through a divorce where I am single again. Okay. And we're going to talk about the importance of watching like what we say and things like that. So tonight or today, it's just pretty much an introduction about the Successfully Single series. So At the end of when I finish my spiel, and I'm not going to be before you long, as preachers say, there, I'm going to have an announcement about how we're going to do this entire series. Okay, it's going to be at least 6 weeks. And maybe longer, but it's going to be at least 6 weeks. And what I'm going to be talking about, so like I said last week, I'll tell you what the Successfully Single series is not. The Successfully Single series is not about how I can get a man and go from being successfully single to successfully boot up in a relationship and a marriage. Why do I say that? And I've been on this soapbox before, right? I say that because we spend so much time trying to fill in that emptiness and that space that we don't even know what we're filling up. And we don't even realize that the space that we're filling up has holes. And those holes can be a myriad of things. And then when the relationships that we find ourselves in do not work, we find ourselves back at ground zero, back at square A, frustrated, like, why isn't this working? Why can't I find anyone to be with? Why can't I find anyone to love me? Why can't my relationship be successful? It's because your singleness isn't successful. Okay. Your singleness isn't successful. You're not successfully single. You have not checked all of the boxes. You have not settled yourself in your singleness so that you can be completely prepared and ready to receive what God has for you and have the discernment to walk away from what is not for you. Okay. A lot of times that's how we get tripped up with things and things happen. And we're going to go through these 6 weeks, and a lot of these 6 weeks, these weeks that we go through, some of them are going to be biblically, I mean, everything is going to be biblically based, but we're actually going to do Bible study. We're going to look at the principles of what the word says, and then we're going to look at the practicality of what it is we're supposed to do. Okay, because oftentimes we swing between two extremes. We go from what the word says, and sometimes we misquote. Sometimes we take things completely out of context. Sometimes we are just dead wrong, okay? Or we don't look at the word at all because we think that is very hard. And then we resort to our own feelings, our own understanding, what we think is right. And both extremes can cause a shipwreck. Okay, so we're going to create balance. We're going to create balance in the Successfully Single series because I am coming for the ones who are single and who are single again that are hurting. I'm coming for the ones who are single and single again who are not so adamant about jumping into a relationship more than they are being healed. Okay, because there's a lot of platforms that they are talking, and no shade, but there's a lot of platforms that are talking about relationships and relationships and relationships. Why? Because going into, and just one of the scriptures that we're going to talk about briefly tonight and then next week is Genesis 2:18, when after God created all of the things that he needed to create, he looked at Adam and said, it's not good that man should be alone, so I will create a helpmeet, a companion for him. Okay, so we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be alone. Everyone wants companionship. Everybody wants partnership. Everyone wants love. Everyone wants to feel like somebody has their back. But here's the thing: we were not born with that desire. The desire is set for us. But when you are born single. You are born single. Even if you're a twin, even if you shared your mama's womb, you are still single. You're born single. But from the time that we are born single to the time that we get of age, and what does of age look like? Get of age when you're dating, right? We are programmed to look for. Now we're already innately programmed, for love, and for sex and all of those things, but our mind is programmed, whether it's internally or through external factors. We are programmed to say we want to be with someone. Okay. How many times, when we look at our children, we probably don't remember ourselves when we were young, but how many of our children, they go to school and they come back and they're in the third grade, they're in the second grade, they're in the first grade. Oh, I like so and so. So and so is my boyfriend. Where did you learn that? Where did you learn? Do you know what boyfriend is? But you heard somebody, or maybe because of in school or in the home, you see a two parent home, and you see, a husband and a wife, and you see them loving on one another, and then you want to emulate that. We are wired, okay? But are we wired to enjoy our singleness? Are we wired to really get to know who we are, not for the purposes of being prepared for somebody else, but knowing who we are, tried and true, wholeheartedly? No, we're not. We're not. We jump from adolescence to we jump from childhood to adolescence to preteen to teenage to adult to marriage. We don't jump from adolescent to preteen to teen to adult to singlehood, which is encompasses all of those things, to marriage. Okay? And a lot of us have gotten into marriage ignorantly and unaware of what it really is and what it really takes. And then unfortunately, if we don't learn those principles and it goes left and we end up getting divorced, then we end up chasing for the same thing to try to make right what was wrong, but we don't know what was wrong. And a lot of times what was wrong had nothing to do with the two, it was the one. We know people, and we may have been in situations where there are people who are married living single. There are spouses right now to this day that have a spouse, but they carry on as a single person. Whether they are single, doing their thing, or whether the spouse is doing their thing and this is just what they are. This is just what they are doing. So we are going to be looking at that all this week. We're going to, well, all this month, um because my computer is dying. So we're going to be talking about that all of this month. We're going to be hitting certain um topics, hard topics, hot topics when it comes to singleness, because I want us to be healed. The holidays are coming around again, and for some, you got the ring, you got the boo, you got the wife, you got the husband, all is well, or not, or you're single, and here it is, yet another holiday. I've gone through, and I've gone through COVID by myself, and I've done this and I've done that and I've done this, I've done that, and I still don't have anybody. Nobody still has me. You know what I mean? I want to tackle that these 6 weeks. I want to tackle that. I want to tackle the hurts that we're going through. I want to tackle the misinformation that we receive as those who, are single and single again. I want to tackle those things. So, because it's going to be a short one tonight, tonight's episode is called First Things First. Okay, so first things first. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at um I want you to look at wait a second. I want you to look at Genesis 2:18, when it talks about it is not good for man to be alone. It is not good for man to be alone. So as I talked about, plug that in over there. As I talked about, we all are wired. We all are wired to want companionship. We all are wired to want to be with someone, and God instituted it for it to be so. But there is still, thank you, there is still a way for it to take place. It's still a way for it to transpire. And I do not believe that you can cut corners if you want something whole and real and right. There's work that you have to do. There's work that we have to do. Okay. There are things that we need to set in place while we are single as we wait. As we wait, and waiting doesn't mean that we just sit around and do nothing. There are things that we ought to be doing, but the first thing that we ought to do is deal with us. Like I said, there are a lot of platforms. They are zeroing in on relationships, and a lot of them mean well. But we know that relationships draws numbers. It draws numbers because everyone is looking for the magic number. Everyone is looking for the magic, thing to do. Everyone is looking for that answer that is going to unlock. How do I find a woman that's going to love me for me and not want to be, trying to take me for my money, stick me for my paper? How do I be found by a man, a real man that's not out here playing games, out here tricking and doing whatever? How do I find be found by a man of God? What does that look like? What do I do while I'm in church? Like all of these things that don't necessarily drive numbers, because here's the thing: when we talk about things like healing and wholeness and forgiveness and things like that, those don't typically drive numbers. But when we're talking about mess and we're talking about sex and we're talking about relationships, everyone wants to jump over the, I need to heal and get into the relationship part, because you think that being in the relationship is going to heal you. Once I find my boo, all of that will take place. We'll do it together. Absolutely not. Now, here's the thing: you're not going to be completely healed. I don't believe that anybody is completely healed once they meet their spouse. Why? Because when you are by yourself, you don't have a buffer. Okay, you don't have a buffer. You don't have anybody to rub up against those things that you believe, things that you got healed from. You don't have anybody to directly or indirectly, purposely or by accident, pull on those triggers that you think that you're healed from. You don't have anybody that's going to test you on certain things. And I don't mean testing like trying to break you. I mean, just by when two people are trying to become one, there's going to be friction. There's going to be situations. It's going to be arguments. It's going to be misunderstandings. How do you deal with that? Do you deal with that? Because I can say how I would deal with something, and then I meet somebody and I'm faced with that. The true test of whether I am healed or not, the true test of whether I've forgiven or not, is going to be contingent upon what I do with what I've learned. When you're in school, you learn. And the true test of if you have retained what you learned is actually taking a test to see if you will pass. So am I going to pass this test or am I not? And if I don't pass the test, it's okay. It's okay. That means that I have to go back to the drawing board and I have to see what I missed. But if you never learn, you're going to fail the test every time. And then what's going to happen? You're going to end up single again. Okay. So that is what these 6 weeks are about. Okay. These 6 weeks are about tackling certain topics, tackling the things that we don't want to talk about so that we can be successfully single. So that when we go into these podcasts, when we go into Clubhouse, when we read the books, when we go to the seminars, we have already done the heart work and the hard work. And I've said this before, the hard work and the hard work to heal, so that we are coming into knowing things. We are coming to acknowledgement. We're coming into meeting somebody. We're coming into dating. We're coming into courting, having a relationship with an open, sound mind that is balanced. That's what we want. Okay. So really quickly, I want to drop 12 things that you can do to be successfully single. Okay. Some of these I got from healthline.com, and then I interjected a couple of things myself. Okay. So I'm going to hit it and quit it. Okay, 12 things that you can do as we start. Okay, now we know it takes 21, 30 days, for some, maybe 60 days to create a habit. But I'm going to give these things to you since it's October 1st so that we can start doing the work ourselves. Okay, we can start putting in the work of shedding those things that are not, conducive to where we want to be. For those of us who desire to be in a meaningful relationship and be married or married again. Okay. Number one, avoid comparing yourself to others. Okay. Avoid comparing yourself to others, especially those that are in relationships, that are in meaningful relationships. Avoid comparing yourself. Your journey is your journey. Your journey is your journey. Somebody else's journey is somebody else's journey. Okay. It doesn't matter that you both got divorced at the same time and one person got married or got into a relationship before you did. And um, I actually, uh, experienced that where I got divorced. Somebody who I thought was a friend got divorced as well. And to this day, if I could be very candid, there's this thing where it's just this thing where it feels like you you can't get married before me. Like I got to do this before you. And they're not. It's dumb. It's dumb. We're going to be very, very transparent. I'm always transparent on this podcast, but we're going to be very transparent with this singleness thing because there's some things that are just downright ugly. I've seen women do strange things, okay, for the sake of a relationship, for the sake of wanting to be married. I've seen it. I've done some incredibly stupid things, not even realizing how dumb they were. Getting into it, it's just crazy. But whatever the situation is, okay, avoid comparing yourself to others. This is what this 6-week series is about. It's about looking in the mirror about you. It's not comparing your timeline, your age, your status, how many kids you have or don't have. You don't have any kids. It's not about any of that. It's about you, not you compared to somebody else. Okay. Number two, take a step back from social media. One and two could have actually been tied together because social media will have you out here tripping and hating and being envious and working witchcraft and working witchcraft and working witchcraft. Okay, against somebody else's relationship. Meanwhile, they're only showing you the highlight reels. They're only putting up what is going to get numbers and give the illusion and the image of them being happy, but you do not know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what happens. So take a step back from social media, okay? Clear your mind. Number three, take a phone break, which actually again ties into one and two. One, avoid comparing yourself to others. Two, take a step back from social media. Three, take a phone break. Take a phone break. Okay, the scrolling and the scrolling and the scrolling gets us in trouble. Number four, carve out time to be still. And I know that during COVID, we were still and we were quiet and we were alone and we were lonely and we were by ourselves. But there's something about having the opportunity to be out and about doing this and shaking and moving, and you make the decision to just quiet yourself and just chill. There is a blessing in being still and being centered. We call it meditation, and meditation is of God. Okay. I'm talking about meditation. Just, you know, get in tune with being okay with enjoying your own company. That is one of the main ways you will be successfully single. If you do not like being by yourself, 9 times out of 10, whatever it is that is about you that you don't like to be by yourself, Don't nobody want to be bothered with you. Ain't nobody trying to be around you if you don't want to be around yourself. Okay. So carve out time to be still. Number 5, take yourself out on a date. Listen, outside is halfway open, kind of, sort of, a little bit, maybe, depending on what where you are with COVID. Outside is open. Outside is kind of open. The movies are open if you are okay with that. It's still rather nice outside. You can go sit outside, and there's a lot of restaurants who have outdoor dining. You can take yourself out. Listen, even if you stay in the house, you can go to the supermarket, you can get some snacks, get your favorite drink, have a Netflix and chill with yourself, by yourself. No kids, no phone. Binge watch, find something to binge watch on Netflix. Enjoy yourself. That can be your date. Okay. Number 7, lean into the perks of being alone or all one. Okay. Did you know that you are complete in and of yourself, lacking and needing nothing and no one until God allows it to be so? Did you know that? Did you know that? You are complete and whole by yourself. Lean into the perks of being alone. You can book a flight and go on about your business. You can take a trip. You can create your own budget. If you want to splurge or if you want to treat yourself to something nice, you don't have to ask for permission. If you don't feel like cooking, you don't have to cook. You can order takeout. If you do not feel like making up your bed, even though I personally can't do that, you don't have to make up your bed. You don't have to, because it's just you. Lean into the perks. Lean into the perks. If you go to a wedding and you by yourself, and you see a bunch of fine men or a bunch of fine women, and you sitting amongst your peers who are all married, they can't go and holler, but you can, or be hollered at, because you're single, because you're looking, because or you're waiting to be found, whatever. Look at the perks. Don't look at the, I'm by myself and I got to do this and I got to do that. Yes, those things are very true and they are very real, but there are some good sides. Speak the good sides, the perks to being single, because there are plenty. Okay. Acknowledge things you are grateful for. And this goes into 7. Once you lean into the perks of being single, then acknowledge what you're grateful for. Okay. Everyone knows someone that is going through or has gone through in their marriage or their relationship. Everyone knows someone who has dealt with heartbreak. Okay. We ourselves have dealt with heartbreak. And if you can't find anyone else, when you and if you are at the point where you have learned from the school of hard knocks, and you know who you are, and you have the ability and the strength and the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you, to walk away from what God did not call you to be in or with, to walk away and throw away the number and delete and block and do all of those things, and still, have cordial feelings, and, we cool, but we just not it. If you have the strength to be able to do that, that right there, baby, let me tell you something. That in and of itself is enough to be thankful for. When you know who you are and you know what God has promised you, and you will not back down and settle from what God said, child, that is something to be thankful for. Okay. Number 9, strengthen your coping skills. Strengthen your coping skills. What does that mean? There's going to be times where something is going to happen. Um, there may be a trigger, especially if you just broke up with someone, especially if you're going through a divorce. There's going to be times in your life, and there's going to be areas where um it's going to get tough, and you're going to have to cope with some things. Strengthen your coping skills. If you don't know what those coping skills are, if you do not know what that means, I encourage you to seek professional help. Talk to a therapist. Talk to a therapist so that they can walk you through different coping skills depending on the things that you have been through, the traumas that you have been through, whether it's in past relationships or anything that has happened to you in your childhood, like way, way back in your past. Okay. Number 10, take care of your health, diet, and exercise. Okay. Listen, just because you are single does not mean that you can be out here in these streets eating any kind of way and drinking sodas and doing all of this stuff and being unhealthy. Okay. Yes, emotional eating is a thing. Okay. That ties into number 9, strengthen your coping skills. Some people to cope, some people sex it out, drink it out, some people lie it out, some people anger it out, and then there's some people who eat. There are some people who eat, and they eat as to emotionally cope with depression and all of those things. Okay. um Diet and exercise, because here's the thing, not only is the person that you want to find you is going to be interested in your intellect, they're going to be interested in how you look. We are human, we all have eyes. Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you that you need to go on Instagram and go on social media and be looking at these fake, injected fantasy, like, videos and photos of girls and or guys who are selling a false reality and is allowing society to dictate what beauty looks like. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, again, because I'm talking about blinders and us being concerned with what our journey, see what you need to do. See what you need to do. See how you need to get yourself physically ready. It's, listen, especially if you're above 40, because let me tell you something. After you turn 40, it is not a game. It is not a game. It's real out here in these streets. It's kind of hard to lose or gain muscle mass, stuff start cracking and creaking and all. Like, take control of your health. Do your yearly physicals. Okay. Go and get your stats. Go and get all of those things. Okay. So, just to recap, all right, 12 things that you can do to start to be successfully single. 1, avoid comparing yourself to others. 2, take a step back from social media. 3, take a phone break. 4, carve out time to be still. 5, take yourself out on a date. 6, get physical. 7, lean into the perks of being alone or all one. 8, acknowledge things you are grateful for. 9, strengthen your coping skills. And 10, take care of your health, diet, and exercise before you get into the relationship. Okay. Number 11, make plans for your future. Make plans for your future. Where do you see yourself at in 2022? Because it's only 91, 92 days away. It's only 3 months away. Where do you see yourself in 2022? How can you plan these next and last 3 months of 2021 to get yourself together, mind, body, soul, spirit, emotionally, physically, financially? How can you get yourself in order? Okay. And what does that look like for you starting today? All right. Number 12, start your journey of forgiveness. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna hit this hard. I'm going to forget this. I'm going to hit this forgiveness hard because this past Monday, right? We have all of these national days, national days, national days. I think Saturday or Sunday of last week, or Saturday of last week and Sunday the beginning of this week, I think was National Daughters Day. All right. Everybody up with their child posting their baby girl. Tuesday was National Sons Day. Everybody with their son, everybody with their son, everybody with the son. Monday was National Forgiveness Day. Crickets. Crickets. Crickets, I say. Why is that? We're going to hit forgiveness because let me tell you something, and I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. There is nothing like being free. Forgiveness will open up everything. Everything. And there's so many of us who are walking around with unforgiveness and still, creating scenarios in our head and still just mess and messy for no reason, because some of the things are lies, some of the things are not reality, some of the things never even happened, is what we have created in our own head. And because we didn't have the courage to go and have a conversation with the person, we're over here thinking one thing and it's not even that. And we're holding ourselves back. Yes, we are holding ourselves back from finding true love or being found by true love because we are wicked. I said it. We're wicked. We're giving our spouses, those who are married, hell. Or we're in hell because we rushed to do certain things to try to prove a point to people because we could not forgive this person. It's so bad. Okay. So I want us to take those 12 things and I want us to ponder upon them. I want us to ponder upon them. I want us to think about them. And I want us to come back next week ready. But in the meantime, here is my announcement. The Successfully Single series is coming to Cultivating Conversations on Clubhouse. So for those of you who do not know, yes, Cultivating Conversations is on Clubhouse. I haven't really done much of anything, but now I am. So, with the podcast on Facebook Live and on YouTube, I'm doing a lot of talking. And there is interaction, but it has to be through the comments and through the chats. Well, on Clubhouse, we can actually have dialogue. I can invite you to the stage. I'm going to have moderators. Like, we're going to have healthy conversations. So I want to continue the conversation on the Successfully Single series weekly. So whatever we talk, whatever topic I do on Friday, we're going to talk about it that following Wednesday. Okay. So starting this Wednesday, October 6th, we're going to be talking about first things first. We're going to be talking about what God has mandated for us as far as being single, because we're single before we're married. What does it is not good for man to be alone in Genesis 2:18? What is the correlation between alone and all one? We're going to dig deep. Okay. So if you are on Clubhouse, I encourage you to just type in the search bar Cultivating Conversations. When you see the green house, click on the green house so that you can be a part of the club. And then you will be notified when we are starting on on Wednesdays, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are not on Clubhouse, I think they have fixed it to where both iPhone and Android users can be a part now. So if you need an invite, inbox me, DM me, let me know. I will send you an invite because I have a lot of invites because I feel like everyone is on Clubhouse, but they're not. So those of you who are on Clubhouse, and who will get on Clubhouse and you will click on the green button, what will happen is that when I set the schedule for Cultivating Conversations on Clubhouse for our interactive dialogue and conversation, you will be able to click on the bell so that you will get a reminder. Okay, you will get a reminder. about what is coming up. All right. So that's it. That is it. Thanks for tuning in. Even though this is pre-recorded, please comment. Tell me what you think about those 12 things to do as being single or single again. And if there are any topics that you want to discuss or you want me to discuss as it pertains to being single or being single again, DM me. Okay, DM me either on my I Am Stacey T Facebook page or on Instagram, or if you have my number, hit me up and let me know. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed. I will be back live for sure on next week, Friday. And until then, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself, be safe, and I love you all, and I will see you next week.